Thank you for reminding me. Let me go back to what I was presenting. So as you said, as you looked at that, what we just discussed now, Class C is the 192 that you were just talking about, the 192.168. That is a Class C IP address. Okay, so let's keep it moving in terms of what we talk about now. The thing I was presenting just disappeared for some reason. So I'm opening it again. Please forgive me. Okay, now we are back. Can you guys see my screen? I don't know, just checking. Let me present. Okay, let me share my screen. All right. Okay. Can you see my screen now? So we have private IP address and public IP address, and we also have different classes. Now, for those classes, I've never been asked what class is this IP address. There are too many details for the job that they are looking at when they are interviewing you that they'll be asking for that. They feel like you should already know it. You get what I'm saying? There's no how, like you are in your master's level and I'm asking you what is 2 plus 2. I mean, I mean, you just look at them like, are you okay? So nobody asks this. I've never been in an interview, and I've been interviewing for 7 to 8 years. In terms of those interviewing for IT off and on, I've not heard what is class A or class B or class C. The main thing to know from this is NAT. You need to know it. I would say, please, your assignments, go watch video on NAT network. There's something called PATS as well, but watch videos on NAT, network address translation. You need to know it. It's one of the basics of knowing IT. Just go and watch videos on YouTube, 5, 7, 10 minute videos on YouTube on NAT. Understand it. So in terms of classes, I've not really nobody does. I've not seen someone that interviews and asks for what class, or is it class A, class B, or class C? Is it what is it? Just know that there'll be times where a customer or an employee will ask you to do something. And when you look at the IP address, like somebody has asked me before, oh, I tried to use 192 or something on the internet. I think one of my coworkers, they say this is a private IP, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So we send them a link, and that link captured their public IP address. Sometimes where we whitelist. What is whitelist? Whitelist is when you allow traffic that is normally blocked. So let's say you are coming from London and you have an IP address, and we know that you are a customer, and we know that you give us money. We don't want to block your traffic. So what we do is that we will whitelist your IP address in London. So when your traffic comes to our router in Atlanta, it is allowed. Same thing with here. So when we are looking at NAT, looking at all the other things. So when we whitelist your IP address, we are doing that. So in the past, we've had situations where somebody will come and say, oh, please help me whitelist this IP address. But the IP address they ask us to whitelist is a private IP address. So it won't work. What am I trying to say? Know the difference between a private IP address and a public IP address. In most cases, the numbers will lie between class A, class B, or class C. Class A, class B, or class C. If you see 10 dot something dot something is a private IP address. If you see 172 dot something dot something is a private IP address. If you see 192 dot something, it's in most cases in general, these three classes are private IP addresses. And in most cases, there's a high chance that in your own house you have class C. There's a high chance if you do it, you will check your private IP address is a class C. But in most cases, if you are in business, most business I've seen, they use the 172s. Those ones are their own private IP address. I've seen that in most cases. Most businesses have their 172 and the 10.0.0. I've seen those class A and class B for businesses and class C for like homes. That's personally what I've observed, but it can be different. So just note that if you see these three classes, they are private IP address in general. So there was one time in 2017 I had a contract job, and I think that's how I lost it because I didn't know the difference. So I told my boss that he said no, he said it's a private IP address. Of course, I thank God it was a contract job. So as soon as my contract was done, they let me go. It was a contract job, so thank God. At least I finished out the contract. You get what I'm saying? That you must not just know the difference. So when you see this IP address at work, when you start working, you know that it is a private IP address, and it's the way you treat private IP addresses. Okay, let's keep it moving. Now we have something called network address, reserved IP address. So we have the network address. We mentioned it. Okay, now I want to give an example, but let me put one in the chat we talked about last week, and I want you to let me know what you think. So 172.23.45.0. Is it a slash 24 or slash 32? I asked this question last week. So what's the answer? The answer should be flying in the chat already. It should be quick and prompt. Is it a slash 24 slash 32? And we looked at subnet mask last week. You remember that we are still looking at subnet mask, and I gave you guys a link to check out the subnet mask. So what's the answer to that? 172.23. Okay. Anybody else? Damage says 24. Anybody? Is it A or B? Is there? It's just a multiple choice. Is it slash 24 slash 32, please? Slash, okay, only one person has the confidence to answer. That's, man. You guys, see, let me tell you, everybody, we are all busy. This, like today now, if I tell you the amount of work, we are, even tomorrow, sir, we have church. I'll be in church at least before 8 o'clock, and I'll be there till, and we have something going on. So we all have to, so you have to, see, you have to create time to study these things, to watch the videos. That means right is slash 24. Why? I mentioned last week that that dot zero shows that there's a possibility that you can use other numbers. So if I assign 172.23.45.0 as a network address to you, that means that other appliances in your homes can be 172.23.45.2.4.10.15. Your laptop can be .12. Your phone can be .18. Your TV can be You get what I'm saying? I'm talking about the last octet. Please, if you don't understand what I'm saying, raise your hand. Though. I don't want to confuse you because when I was taking the class, this way me I got confused too. I got very confused and I didn't understand. Even until I got the job, I didn't understand. So that's why I'm asking you to raise your hand now. So 172.23.45.0. We said that we have 4 octets. I just put in the chat. Please look at the chat. We have 4 octets. So 172 is 1 octet, 23, another octet, 45, the third octet, and 0 is what? The fourth octet. So there are 4 octets, 32 bits. So each octet has 8 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get the point. So 172 has 8 bits. Dot 23, 8 bits. Dot 45, 8 bits. Dot 0, what? 8 bits. It makes what? 32. Okay. 172. Just look at the first octet. It has what? 8 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dot 23. That's another what? 8 bits. That's what? 16. Am I right? Dot 45. What is that? 24. Does that make sense? Dot 0. So if there's a 0 there, that means it's a slash 24. I hope that makes sense. We have 3. Okay, let me give another one now. 172.23.0.0. What is that? Please look at the chat. I want everybody to answer. Olayemi, it's not 24, Dami. It's not 24. From what I just said now. 172.23.0.0. What is this? Thank you. Olayemi got it. 16. Because we have 2 8 bits. 172, 8. 23, 8. The rest are what? 0, 0. That's slash 16. 172.0.0.0. What's that? Thank you very much. I think Olayemi gets it. That's it, man. It's just 8 bits. So if you look at it, so when I do 172.24.56.78, what's that? Slash 32 is all the everything is complete. That's the logic behind it. I hope it makes sense. If you don't understand it, please let me know. I can explain it again. Each octet, we have 4. Look at the last example. We have 4 octets, and they have what? 8 bits. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 bits. Each octet is 8. So, like, you see that? So each octet has what? 8 bits. You are counting 1, 2. I put that in chat. So that 172, 8 bits. 34, 8 bits. 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 Maybe my accent. Bits. 8 bits. BITS. So the first octet is 8 bits. The second octet, 8 bits. Third octet, 8 bits. And fourth octet is what? 8 bits. What does that make? Done. If you add all the 1 together, what is that? 32. So if I do 172.34, I'm just giving, let me even do another number. Okay, 45.67.89.0. What is that? You should be answering this one quickly by now. 24. There are only 3 that are accounted for. 3 of it. 8 times 3 is what? 24. Or you can count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not 8, it's 24. It's 24. Because there's only one that is missing. The 0 is showing that I hope it makes sense. Oh Lord, this one confused me, so I understand. That's why I'm saying that if it doesn't make sense, talk. Because me myself, when they were teaching in class, I was like, what the heck is this guy talking about? It is slash 24. If you look at my previous example, we have 8 bits in one octet. It doesn't matter if I even put 256, 345.56.79, 78.9095. I can put any number. Just know that each octet has 8 bits. What is this? What number is this one now? This one I just put in the chat. 32. They are all complete. All each octet is there. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me do another one. 23. If you don't understand this one, the 0, if you see a 0 there, it means that don't account for the bits in that octet. Okay, 23.0.0.0. What is this? It's 8. That's it. That's basically subnetting. I'm just taught you subnetting now. Basically, that's what we call subnet mask. That's subnetting right there. That is it. I hope that makes sense. That you have 8 bits in one. So those 4 IPs are 4 octets, and you have 8 bits in each octet. If there's a 0 in one of the octets, it already tells you the answer. It's /32 /24 /16 /8. You get what I'm saying? 000 determine. So if you have 0.0.0.0, what is that? It's 0, man. That's the internet. 0.0.0.0 is the internet already. That's it. There's nothing. There's nothing. You get what I'm saying? So each octet has 8 bits. I hope that makes sense. If you can understand this, you have pretty much understood the basis of networking already. You have already understood. That's it. Each IP address, either private or public, has 8 bits in one octet. We have 4 octets. 4 octet has 8 bits. Octet, 8, octagon, octet, 8 bits. So each one accounts for the subnet mask. So that subnet mask is what you are seeing /32 /16 /24. Those are the things. In most cases, I mostly deal with /24 and /32. In most cases, but you see /16 /8. Now there's subnet mask calculator. If I put this in the calculator, it will show it to me. But it's good for you to at least know it in your head. I'm telling you, it's like if you meet people that went to school without calculator, their brain is sharper than people that use calculator. In some cases, they use calculator for everything because they know how to calculate things in their head. There's way you can. If they ask me 12 times 12, I know it's 144. I know it. It's not in my brain. And the other way for me to know how to do 12 times 12. You know what I'm saying? If they say 250 plus 500, 250 plus 500, I know 250 plus 250 is 500. 500 plus 250 is 750. You know, there's way you can just break things in your brain to give you the answer you are looking for. It might not be the same way you break it, the way I will break it. You know what I'm saying? 25 times 10, I know it's 250. You just add the other 0. You get the point. So this one is just 8 bits in one. I hope everybody is understanding this part. Just look at the chart. We have 4 octets in an IP address. That's IPv4. There's IPv6, but we're not touching IPv6. IPv4 is still existing, although there's still some IPv6, IP version 6. But the version 4, IP version 4, IP address is 4 octets. And in those 4 octets, we have 8 bits. So let me give an example. 12.34.56.78. That is a /32. Why? Why is this a /32, please? Please give me the reason why is this /32. All the bits are accounted for. All of it. It's only everything in each octet is accounted for. For each of the, thank you, sir. All accounted for. If I do 12.32.56.0 /24, what does that mean? Thank you. /24, thank you. Why? Because all 3 octets are what? They are 8 times 3 is 24. or you do 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. All three is all accounted for. So you look at 12, that's 8 bits, 32, 8 bits, 56, 8 bits, 8 plus 8 plus 8. 38 is what? 24. So that's 24 bits. That's a slash 24 because the zero is not accounted for. So that's zero now. If I assign that to your own network, it can be, so your iPad can be 12.32.56.10. That last octet is changing based on the number. You get what I'm saying? Everybody listening. Your TV, if you watch Hulu or watch Netflix on your TV, it can be 12.32.56.40. Your wife's cell phone can be 12.32.56.18. If you have those smart fridges, 12.32.56.9. That zero shows that you can put, you get what I'm saying? It can assign phone numbers to it. I hope that makes sense. Please just understand this part, that when you see 3 octet, that's slash 24 already automatically. Here in America, in Dubai, it is a slash 24 because that zero shows that 1 octet is missing. You get what I'm saying? 12.32.0.0. What is that, please? This one should be very easy. What is this? Slash 16. Why? 2 octets are accounted for. 12, 8 bits. 32, another 8 bits. 8 plus 8 is what? 16. So this is a slash 16. And if I do 12.0.0.0, what is that? 8. 8. The more zeros you have, the more gadgets you can add. So with that, okay, if I give you a 12.0.0, you can add almost 6,000. You get what I'm saying? The more zeros you have, the more gadgets you can have. So the more, so if you see, so in most cases, most people are assigned that slash 24. In most cases, even slash 32 safe. In most cases, you are assigned the slash 24. The zero allows you to add as much as possible. Let's say you're having a party in your house, you're doing birthday party, and someone say, please give me your Wi-Fi. 10 people come to your house for your birthday, and they ask for your Wi-Fi. They can all connect to the internet because you have a slash 24. Hope that makes sense. Let's say in your house, normally you're only 5. You, your wife, and maybe 3 children. And somebody comes, 10 people come to your house, and they need your Wi-Fi. They can also connect because you have a slash 24. So the slash 24 allows the where it is to assign all of them their cell phones or their laptop and IP. If a DJ comes and say, I need Wi-Fi to play my music in your house, your router or your ISP will assign him an IP address based on the what? The slash 24. This .0 alone has a bunch of IPs already. So the more zeros you have, the more devices you can add. You get what I'm saying? Slash 16, more device. Slash 8, more devices. Hope that makes sense. So please, if you know this, you are good. No slash 32. In most cases, you'll be dealing with slash 32. When somebody will say, please give me 34.56.78.90, you know that's a slash 32 already. Because all 4 octets are what? They are accounted for. The bits are complete. If I do the same thing, 34.56.78.0, what is that? It's a slash 24. Let me give you another example. 34.56.78.1. What is this, please? Answer quickly. 34.56.78.1. What is that? 32. 32. 32. Why? Because it is still accounted for. All 4 bits, all 4 octets are accounted for. It's only when you see a zero that you can now, you get what I'm saying? Remove that bit from there and say, okay, this is slash 24, slash 16, or slash 8. The other one is slash 27. There's like that website I gave to you last week. Go and look at that website again. Let me check if it's in the chat. It's not in the chat. Okay, it's not in the previous chat. That one I gave, go and look at it again. It will help you a lot. It will help. Okay, it's in the chat. I even see it in chat again. I'm just going to repost it for those that were not here last week. Go and look at it again. I've posted it again. Does it mean that with a slash 32 you cannot assign? Yes, you cannot assign it in slash 32. It's already assigned. If you see a slash 32, it's already assigned to something. You can't assign. Is that slash 24 that you can assign different? If you say if that last octet is occupied, something has already occupied it. The device already occupied it. Slash 32 cannot be except you want to reassign to something, but it's already assigned. If you see a slash 32, it's already assigned to something. A server, something, a router, I don't know, a switch is already assigned to something. Somebody's laptop, a private IP. So it's assigned. Even I've been in situations where like they even assign IPs to like the thermostat in the office. They'll say, please, the firewall is blocking it. So if you see a slash 32, it's already assigned to something. Slash 24, there are variables to it. You can assign different things to it. The more zeros you have, the more devices you can assign. That's how I can put it. Please go and study that website I just put in the chat. Go and read up on it. I'm going to open it again. And you see there that IP addressing and CIDRs. So what I just mentioned to you is a CIDR. Now look at slash 24. If you open the link, that green, you see slash 24 is what? 255.255.255.0. You see that there's a zero missing. Look at slash 16. You see that there are two zeros. 255.255.0.0. Just look at it. There's a chart there, the green one. Scroll down a little bit. Look at slash 8. 255.0.0.0. Now look at slash 32. So that everything is accounted for in the subnet mask. 255.255.255. What? 255. So that's what we call a subnet mask. So the first one I just taught you is the CIDR, the slashes, the slash 24. So in most cases, you'll be dealing with slash 32, slash 24, slash 16, and slash 8. Mostly slash 32 and slash 24, to be honest. But you should know slash 32. See it up there, the first part. Slash what? Slash 24, slash 16. Look at the prefix. And slash 8. That's it. And you can see the amount of addresses. You can see that you have almost 512 million. Look at the last 20, that's slash 3. So the more zeros you have, look at that slash 24. Look at slash 24 now. You can assign at least 256 devices. That's slash 24. Look at it. Look at the IP address. You can assign, if you look at this row, slash 24, in the prefix, you see slash 24. Look to your left, you see 256. So you can assign 256 devices based on the slash 24 alone. You get what I'm saying? But look at slash 32, only one. You can only assign one. Look at the IP address. So if it's slash 32 is already assigned, look at the IP address. It's only one because it's assigned to something already. Except you want to reassign it. There's no, you can't get slash. That will not. There won't be a .255. It can be. It can be. That's one. The example you gave, hypothetically, Ebenezer is correct. It's slash 32. Allow me. Hypothetically, if you have a .255 at the end, it is a slash 32. As long as the last octet is occupied, is a slash 32. It can be .3, .58. If the last octet, that's the fourth octet, is occupied, it is a slash 32. I believe that has explained many things. Please, I will say go watch video on IP addressing. And now watch video on in most cases, you see something called subnet mask. Learn that one too, because each subnet has, so now that example, like let's use Olayemi's example, 34. The first octet is 255 in subnet mask. Now I'm going to do something different now. You know, the first one is 8 bits. Everybody remember the 8 bits that all 4 make it 32 bits. You remember that? Now in subnet mask, the first one is 255. The second octet is 255. The third octet is 255. The fourth octet is what? 255. Now, as you shave one, it begins to drop. So slash 31 is 254. Look at the last octet. Look at the chart, the green chart. You see slash 31 in the prefix. If you look at the last octet, is what? 254. Slash 30 is 252. Just look at it. I will still explain more. Slash 29 is 248. Slash 28 is 240. It just keeps going down. God, I don't want to confuse you guys today. It might be a short class, so that you're not confused. I don't want to get that first part that each 4 octets contains bits, 8 bits per octet, and no slash 32, slash 24, slash 16, slash 8. Hallelujah. Sorry, I'm used to teaching in Bible study, so you hear the hallelujah, it's just part of me. Just forgive me. Yeah. So now, I'm thinking about how to go. I don't want you guys to be too confused, but let's keep going. Let me present my slides again. Let's keep going. If you are confused, it's good. You know why? Because your brain is expanding. You are seeing things different from what you know are used to. So it's good. So we have network address. So that example now in the chat, in this the first one, the 172.16.0.0, what is that? What is that? What's the answer, please? 172.16.0.0, what is that? Quickly, do you know the answer? That's a what? That's a slash. Thank you, 16. God bless you, Ebenezer. Slash 16. And you see that the subnet mask matches it. You see that the zeros also match the zeros on the subnet mask. And I said before, for each of the 4 octets, we have 8 bits. Now, for subnet mask, 255.255.255, it shows the amount of devices you can put. The amount of devices you can put, 255, 255, 255, 255. So if you say 0, that means that is going to correlate with the subnet mask. No, don't worry, we'll keep going. Those now, what is the 255.255.255.255? It is a local broadcast address. So your IP address needs to be able to broadcast. So that's why you have that 255.255.255.255. Now, this thing we are doing is heavy networking. I don't deal with stuff like this, to be honest. I just deal with the IP address and the subnet mask. Most firewalls will give you the subnet mask. If you put 172.16.0.0, the firewall will interpret this like 16 for you already. Or you can put it manually. Some firewalls you have to do it manually, but some already interpret it for you. So this is heavy networking, but you need to understand networking to understand network security. That's what I will tell you. So now you see here that local broadcast address is what? 255.255.255. So that 255 is a local broadcast address. It helps you to broadcast your IP address, like how you watch, I don't know, CNN or whatever it's Fox News, NTA. For those that remember NTA, if you don't remember it, you are young. AIT, whatever. I mean, I'm just giving Nigerian stuff now, forgive me. But it broadcasts the subnet matter. That's the local broadcast address. Classful, classless. Man, my brother, I've not been asked that in an interview before, but it's good to know it. So a classful IP address is a subnet mask that determines the network portion of the host. That's a classful IP address. It's the subnet mask that determines the network portion and the host. I will give examples in the next slide. So you will see the difference between a classful address and a classless address. So a classful IP address, the value is in the first octet. The value is in the first octet. So it determines the network portion and the host portion. So each IP address shows the network portion and the host portion. Now, in the example I gave earlier, in the slash 24, let me just give an example, 23.45.60.0 slash 24. So this is a network and host. So the first 3, I think, is the network, and the 0 is the host. Maybe I'm confusing them, but I will share in the next slide. One out of this is the host, and one is the network portion. All right, let's just keep it moving. Now, let me give an example for classful IP addressing. See the example in the slides. So you can look at the first octet to see which class it belongs to. So as I said, we don't really do. I've not done in a situation where they ask about a class. So let me tell you something about these classes that we do. The class is just preparing for an interview. To be honest, when you enter the job, you learn how you want to learn on the job. But I've not done an interview where they ask me for different classes of IP address. Is it class A, class B, or class C? I've never done it in my. I've heard of OSI model. They can ask you that. They can ask you about NAT. They can ask you about port numbers. But I've never been in a situation where they ask me for classful and classless. They can ask you for TCP and UDP, which I mentioned what TCP and UDP is about. They can ask you that independent of the interview. But I've not done classful and classless. So I'll not up on it too much because I don't want to confuse you guys. I just want you to just remember the 4 octet has 8 bits. And we're not going to look at subnet mask. We're going to look at that. That's the next one we're looking at. So, yeah, no wala, sir. Anytime, sir. That's what you do. No wala. No wala. So we're looking at that entirely. So the classful and classless address, those are things that we are looking at in that area. So I don't want to confuse you guys with classful and classless. But if you look at it from classless point of view, the last 4 bits The fourth octet is the host portion. That's what I want to talk about. In classless address, the last portion is what? The host portion. The fourth octet is the host. So in the example I put in the chat, the 23.45.60.0/24, that dot zero, the dot zero is the host portion. Hope that makes sense. The dot zero is the host portion. Look at the example there. The last octet is the host portion. That's why I said that you can assign at least 250. Is it 254, 256 IP addresses based on that dot zero at the end? So I would just give a big advice. Go and watch IP addressing and subnet mask videos. I will see if I can find one or two on YouTube and send it to you guys. It will explain things better. In the sub, I feel like I've not done justice to that subnet mask because you need to know more about it. So the subnet mask in classless address, the first 3 bits or so, the first 3 octets is the network, and the last one is the host. The fourth octet is the host. So you see that one I put there in the chat, the 23.45.60.0. The first 3 is the network. The 0 is what? The host. So as I said, you can assign up 200 and something devices on that dot zero alone. You get what I'm saying? So the first 3 are the host portion. I mean the network portion, and the last octet is the host portion. You get what I'm saying? So now the first octet plus last 7 bits is the host portion. I I don't know if I should go into subnetting today, the subnet mask. I will just hold off on that. I don't want you to just get that point of 4 bits, no /32/24/16/8. Know that next week we'll look into subnet mask because that's also something that you need to know. As I said, there are calculators that can help you calculate subnet mask, but it's something that we need to just know. MAC addressing, you can look at more of those later. TCP, you know about TCP and UDP. All right. Ah, so we look at, so this is the subnetting that I want to talk about. Subnetting, this one, we will now go into it and discuss it more in detail. So we have it, the subnetting, all these things. This place value, you need to memorize it too. Don't worry, this is the toughest part. I'm telling you, the rest is easy. This is the toughest part. So please just know the /24/32/16. Just know those ones. Know the 8 bits in one octet. Know that if all 4 octets are occupied, the /32. If 3 octets are occupied, the /24. If 2 octets are occupied, the /16. If all one octet is occupied, the /8/8. So we leave it as that. Just to do a recap, we looked at port numbers. We looked at time for me to go. We looked at port numbers. We looked at what else again? This IP addressing. We looked at private and public IP address. We looked at NAT, network address translation. We looked at that. Network address translation means that we route your private IP to a public IP address. That is network address translation. They looked at other things like MAC address and other things like that. So those are the things that we are looking at. Remote. Now, in terms of NATing for companies, so sometimes I work remotely from the house. I work from home. In most cases, I'm working from home, but I go to the office too. So when I work from home, I can connect to my company using something called VPN, but I don't want to go into that today. What is VPN? It's a virtual private network. So let's say I go to Nigeria for like 2 weeks and I want to access like the things I do in America. Like maybe if I want to watch Netflix, but there's Netflix in Nigeria. But most cases, maybe accessing my bank account. And I know that sometimes because of the way Nigeria is, most companies flag Nigeria. I'm in the back end, I see it. They flag Nigeria because Nigeria, 419, all those things, Yahoo Yahoo, get the point. So most companies flagged Nigeria, except for companies that are international. So you work with Delta Airlines, you work for an airline, they know that you can be anywhere around the world, so they don't do it as much. But if you work for a company that is based in the US or some other countries and they don't have business in Africa, they will flag it. So if I want to work from home and I'm living in Nigeria, what will I do? I will install something called a VPN. The VPN will route all of my data and make it look as if I'm in the United States. You get what I'm saying? So I can buy VPN. So I can just subscribe to a VPN, pay something for 1 year. It's a subscription. And what you do is that when I turn on my laptop, I will just turn on the VPN, and the VPN will route my traffic as if I'm in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's called VPN. But now there's companies that are getting smarter. There's some devices that can even tell if you're using a VPN. CrowdStrike can tell if you're using a VPN. So some companies can even see, some companies can even track your private IP address. That's why I said that anything you do on a company laptop, a company cell phone can be tracked. It can be, so be careful what you do, what you say, what you chat. We can pick it, we can look at the chat. So sometimes when my coworker wants to chat some things about the work, he doesn't use our, he will call me on my phone. He will call me because you don't want them tracking what you put on the chat, on your company chat, and using it against you. You get what I'm saying? So something called VPN. So VPN can route it. It's some level of NAT. So I am NATing the Nigerian traffic. Let's say in Nigeria, for those that know Nigeria well, if you are not Nigerian, just forgive me. Something called MTN. MTN is like a local, I don't know the other ones that are there now. The other one is MTN, Airtel. So it can route my MTN traffic and route it to, in such a way that it will look as if Globalcom, thank you, sir, as if it is using Comcast or I don't know, AT&T, whatever you use in the United States. It's called VPN. So VPN can make you look as if you are in a place when you're not in that place. If I want to watch Netflix and I know that they have a show, and the show that they have is based in the United Kingdom, I can be in America and I can turn on my VPN and route it to United Kingdom. So it will be as if I'm in United Kingdom. So when I turn on my Netflix, it will show all the shows that they are allowed in the United Kingdom, which is not allowed in the United States. You get what I'm saying? VPN does that. So same thing. So if I'm working remotely, I can VPN into my company network. So that allows me to access all of the data in the company that I work for. Everyone says that's what it's called, VPN, virtual private network. Now, IPsec VPN is different. I don't want to go into different details. IPsec VPN is when you are trying to transfer files from one company to another company securely. So let's say I work for Apple. Let's give an example. And Samsung buys Apple. Hypothetically, which can never happen. Samsung buys Apple. Like they buy the company. So for them to merge the company together, they have to send files, like important files. So let's say all the iPhone 22, like all the future makings of their phones. Like let's say in the next 2 years, we're bringing an iPhone 25. Just give an example. It's not going to be a public thing. It's going to be a private data. All the confidential files that they have, it's going to be private. So for Samsung to receive all those files securely, the firewall administrator will establish what is called a VPN tunnel. Don't worry, just listen. The VPN tunnel in the firewall will allow Samsung and Apple to transfer files securely. If I'm an hacker, I can't hack it. So let's say I'm one of those little players. Let's say I am Microsoft, or I don't know which other one, Motorola. Maybe I'm a hacker for Motorola. Just give an example. I can't hack that VPN to steal some of their concepts so we can use it for our own cell phone. You get what I'm saying? So what we do is that we establish that tunnel. That was my first job actually in 2017. My first job, they brought me in to establish VPN tunnel. I think the company bought over another company, or they work with different companies and they like to transfer files securely. So my own job is to bring up the tunnel on the firewall, and somebody else will not transfer the files. That's also my job. So when you work in firewalls, but I've not done that since that time. I've not brought up any tunnel. Maybe there are different ways people do it nowadays. You can sell file securely without even doing all those. So you bring up the tunnel. It's called a tunnel, VPN tunnel. Tunnel is like, when you go into a tunnel, it's secure. You get what I'm saying? So you bring up the tunnel and transfer those files. In most cases, a mergers, when you merge two companies and you're trying to transfer the files, the IT person brings up a VPN tunnel. So what is VPN? I think it's virtual private network. It makes you look as if you are in a place when you're not in the place. So most companies have VPN. So if you work from home, you pretty much connect to the company VPN, Cisco VPN. There are different VPNs that people use, and that VPN makes you look as if you are in the company. You are working inside the building. You just need internet. As long as your internet is there, you just click on the VPN, you type in your credentials, your company credentials, you log in, and you are connected to everything. So you can download private files, you can connect to any of the private intranet that they have there. So that is called VPN. Did they ask that in the interview? I don't know. It depends on what your interviewer is looking for. Of course, we look at UDP and TCP. Which one is dependable? TCP or UDP? Please put in the chat quickly. Which one is dependable? TCP or UDP? We talked about that last week. One is dependable, one is not dependable. Quickly, chat. Ebenezer, you think UDP is more dependable? Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Nido think TCP. Okay. Anybody else? Those that are not answering, I don't know. It's just A or B. Nobody is going to flog you. I'm not carrying cane. It's just what? Either it's TCP or UDP. It's A or B. There's no C. There's no D. It's not a trick question. It's either A or B. The answer is TCP. TCP is more dependable. It takes more time. Look at it. It builds connection. TCP verifies. It verifies what's on the other side. That is what is called TCP. And you will need this because there are many times you will implement something on the firewall and they will come and tell you that they don't see it. What did I say you do? If I come to you now, you implement something for me on the firewall. On the firewall, what do you need? You need the source IP address, destination IP address, and the port number. So I give you these details. You implement it on the firewall. And I come back and say, I can't see it. What will you do? You go and check the firewall logs. You just put in the source IP, the destination IP, and just click the timeline. Either last 24 hours, last 2 weeks. You do that. Excuse me. It shows you if there's something there. If there's nothing there, then you know that, okay, you let the person know that I'm not seeing any traffic for this. And in most cases, it's because there's a connection that is missing. Well, let's not leave that alone. I don't want to, I'm trying my best not to say too much so that I'm not confusing. But when you get your firewall request, now, as I said, if you don't like firewalls in IT, there are different things. There's also what's this one again? Oh, AWS. I'm maybe look into AWS. AWS, but even for AWS, you need to know IP addressing. You need to. I'm telling you, there's nothing you do in IT that you don't need to know IP address. You will need to. There's no how. You get what I'm saying? So UDP is connectionless. TCP is build connection. TCP we want to. So if I say hello, let's say I call you now, and you pick up the phone. I say hello, and you say, hey, Shion, or my name is Shion, or Victor, how are you doing? I'll say, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. And I give you the message and we hang up. That's TCP. UDP, we all say hello. If you don't answer, you say, well, I want to let you know that your food is ready. And hang up, bam. So if you collect the message, it's up to you. You get what I'm saying? That's UDP. Is that making sense? With TCP, I will call you. Hello, how are you? If you don't answer, I will keep waiting until you answer. You say, oh, hey, how are you, Victor? How are you, Shion? Hope you are doing well. I'll say, I'm doing very well. I don't want to let you know that your food is ready. Oh, thank you very much. I'm coming downstairs. That's TCP. Does that make sense? UDP, I call you, and you pick. I say, hello. Your food is ready. I just hang up. Bam. That's UDP. UDP is like, I've sent the message. If you receive it, receive. If you don't receive it, that's you. TCP makes sure that you receive the packet. You get what I'm saying? So TCP is dependable. UDP is not dependable because you are not sure if the message has been passed. Thank you, sir. There's a confirmation of receipt. That's it. With TCP, it confirms that the message has been gotten. It means that when I send packets, that means the server has received that packet. But with UDP, if you don't receive it, I've done my own. So when you get a firewall ticket request, in most cases, they will put their TCP or UDP. So when you do, let's say I want the source IP address, the destination IP address, and I give you the port number. Let's say it's port 443. In most cases, they will put TCP or you see there in the request, TCP or UDP. It will be there already. You get what I'm saying? So TCP is dependable, UDP is not dependable. That is it. When they ask you in the interview, what is TCP? TCP is dependable. TCP builds connection. There's confirmation of receipt. UDP is not dependable, is unreliable. So that's why in most cases we use UDP for live streaming. YouTube uses UDP because you don't have to do too much. TCP, sending emails, that's TCP. UDP is things that have to be, you don't want lag. If I'm watching a live stream, I'm watching a church's live stream. In most cases, if you are watching your church's live stream and it keeps lagging, people are impatient, they may just log off. So most connections in terms of live streaming, gaming is UDP because we don't want any form of interruption. We don't have to confirm if you are watching or not. It is there. But with TCP, we have to confirm if you have received the email if the email has, you get what I'm saying. So TCP builds connection, UDP is connectionless. I think I'll stop there for tonight, and we'll discuss TCP windowing. We do the ARC, we do that one. I'll talk about that. Then we'll go to subnetting. For your assignment, please watch IP address and watch subnetting, so you are not confused anymore. Just watch it. There are many short videos on subnet mask, what subnetting is about, how to convert it, all that stuff. This is where it gets murky, man. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm looking at some of these slides, man. Like, oh man, it is well. So please watch subnetting. God will help us. Uh, and if I send the message, please just forgive me because I get so busy. I have to kind of figure if I'm available. So when I say if I send a message maybe late Friday night or Saturday morning, just bear with me. I'm also calculating things like this weekend is busy for me. Like for those that tomorrow is very busy for me, so we have to also look at things that we are doing. So it is well. Any questions, any comments, contributions?